Hi everyone, this is Diana at Riversage Farm, and I have been promising a lot of you for a really long time to share my secret pesto recipe. A lot of you know that I grow a boatload of basil on the farm, and second crop has come in. It is looking absolutely fantastic, very fragrant, very fresh. So the basil recipe starts with a few very basic things: pine nuts or walnuts, some Parmesan cheese, garlic, and of course the basil leaves, and plenty of your favorite olive oil. Now the olive oil is important on this recipe because you will be freezing this sometimes if you're not making it just for fresh, and it is freezable. So if you want a lighter pesto, use a lighter olive oil, but I prefer the ones that are very grassy, very green. The one I would use to dip bread and add herbs to for a wonderful hors d'oeuvre or appetizer, because I know this is going to melt into my pasta, and I want my olive oil of choice in my pesto. So I don't use the pestle, I use the good old food processor. So the most important thing to my recipe, which is a fairly common recipe, you can look this up pretty much anywhere, recipes will be very similar, is the order of how I put the ingredients into the processor, because it does matter. I am using actual pine nuts today, and you will need 2 tablespoons of either pine nuts or walnuts. They do not have to be crushed. A little more, a little less isn't really going to change much, but a lot of people like the pine nut for that nice nutty flavor, piney flavor. We're also going to be using some garlic. You'll be needing 2 big cloves, or about 1 teaspoon of already prepared garlic for you. If you're using the full clove, you do not need to pre-chop it, because very importantly, the first things we're adding are the garlic cloves and the pine nuts or the walnuts. So this is all going to whirl away by itself. Then we're going to add the parm, and that's half a cup of parm. And then we're going to whirl those for a quick second just to get everything, flavors getting to know each other, and on low for about 5 seconds. We are now ready to pack this, and I am making a single batch, which calls for 2 packed cups of fresh basil leaves. So I measured them out the other day. If you get a half a pound of leaves like this, you're going to end up with about 8 packed cups. That's a lot. So if you're planning to freeze, half a pound of basil goes a long way. Clearly, when you get the fresh basil, you're going to be picking the leaves off. You're going to be soaking them to get any little bug friends. Hopefully you are getting the fresh organic kind off, and you won't be using the woody stem, but you will be using any flower buds on top and the nice hardy leaves. Just anything you wouldn't want to bite down on in a dish, you want to leave it out. So what we end up with is a very nice mix of leaves. So that is next, and we'll pack it right in there. This is the 2 cup. Believe it or not, I've done this with 4 cups of leaves, and it fits. So we're going to close this up. And the next step is fairly important, because this is when we're going to find out the consistency of our pesto. So we're going to start blending on low and add the olive oil slowly. When the magic happens is when you look inside and see absolutely wonderful. I'll try to show this to you. Look at that garlic. Oh, doesn't it make you can eat this right off the spoon. But take a look, see the consistency. Is this something that you'd want to put on your pasta? Probably yes. But if it's a little too dry, the leaves packed in too much, you might want to add a little extra oil. If it's too oily, add a little bit more leaves or Parmesan. You kind of will make this your own as you go along. I also want to share with you one of my secrets for freezing, because you can put pesto in freezer bags, squeeze the air out, and it will keep wonderfully. But if you want to really get a good measurement, a feel for your size, because those plastic freezer bags are really tough to clean out and get all your pesto from them, I really like the baby food jars that are made to be freezable. And this brand is called Sage Spoonfuls. It's a 2-ounce glass jar that you can use to freeze pesto. And what I do is just take it straight from the food processor. You don't have to do anything special with this because you're freezing it. It even gives you a little measurement when you get to the 2-ounce mark. This is super for a couple of people, but if you're cooking for a lot of folks, maybe you want to use larger jars. But these are the best lids I've found for the freezer. They tend to be easily stackable, easily storable. To make sure you keep this nice, fresh green color, try to get as much air out of the pack as you can without packing it too heavily. And then add a little more olive oil to coat the top, and that basically seals in your pesto so the air won't be getting to it. That way, when you're freezing or even storing short term in the refrigerator, it'll keep that really nice color. It won't turn dark on the top. So there you have it. Riversage Farms little recipe for pesto. And here on the beautiful Florida Panhandle, it's the middle of October, and you could not ask for a more beautiful and better day. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.